Good morning, Officer Mendez.
Morning, sir.
Would you kindly introduce yourself to the court?
Hello, I'm Officer Jesse Mendez. I've been with the San Antonio Police Department for 7 years. My current assignment is on the South Patrol Safe Unit, which is the Community Services Unit.
So you've been with SAPD 7 years, officer.
Yes, sir.
Are you a certified peace officer?
Yes, sir, I am.
And what sort of training did you receive to become a certified peace officer?
I attended the San Antonio Police Department's Training Academy.
And you successfully completed?
Yes, sir.
And then is there a period of time while you're a first officer, let's say, like when you first join the department, you need to be supervised by someone?
Yes, sir. For approximately 3 months, you're riding with a field training officer who's going to basically show you the ins and outs of becoming a police officer with the city of San Antonio.
And you did that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you've told us, Officer Mendez, that you've been stationed in the South Side?
Yes, sir. South Patrol Service Area.
That's right. So you were a police officer on February 24th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
And were you still assigned to that area?
Yes, sir. Still at South Patrol with the Safe Unit.
Yes, sir. So on February 24th of 2023, did you have occasion to be dispatched out to a neighborhood located on Depla Street?
Yes, sir.
Now, officer, you were not the primary reporting officer that day.
That is correct.
However, you were one of the first officers to arrive on scene,
That is correct. Yes, sir.
along with a couple of others, I think.
Yes, sir. I had a partner that day training.
That's right. Our officers with the San Antonio Police Department issued body-worn cameras.
Yes, sir.
Were you issued a body-worn camera that day?
Yes, sir.
Was it operational?
Yes, sir, it was.
Was it able to record the events that unfolded as you arrived on that Depla address?
Yes, sir.
Now, Officer Mendez, even though you were not the primary reporting officer, did you write a report?
Yes, sir. I contributed a supplement report from actions on the call.
May I approach the witness room?
Yes.
Officer Mendez, let me show you what has been marked for identification purposes as states 22. Would you kindly take a look at 22 and tell me if you recognize what it is?
Yes, sir. This is my supplement report for the call.
Do you think it would be helpful to have it with you in case I ask a question you may not know the answer to refresh your memory?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I ask that you do that if necessary. Please don't read out loud from it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Officer Mendez, you told us that you arrived on Depla Street that Friday, February 24th of 2023.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what you saw upon first arriving?
Yes, sir. Upon my arrival, we were scanning the area to make sure the dogs were still not on the loose. We were told that they were already in the fence area or the owner's home area. We exited our vehicle. The first thing I remember is seeing blood everywhere. Of the crime scene where the incident took place. There was a lot of blood. There was so much blood you can taste it in your mouth.
What do you mean by that, officer? Taste it in your mouth?
It's like the taste of iron in the air from the amount of blood that was at the crime scene.
So, are you saying that there was so much blood, it was like literally in the air?
Yes, sir.
Wow, okay. So, you told us that you were told the dogs had already been put up?
Yes, sir. Upon arrival, they told us that the dogs were already secure in the home, or they had ran back to the home. So there was actually a blood trail leading back to the house. So followed the blood trail. That's where I made contact with Mrs. Schneider.
Okay. So let's kind of break that down a little, officer. You said that when you first arrived, you were looking for some dogs.
Yes, sir.
What was the call for? What sent you out to Depla?
So I was actually returning back to the South Patrol service area from an arrest downtown. That's when we had heard an emergency tone go off on our radios. That is a tone that goes off for either officer in trouble, fire in trouble, or any kind of serious call, whether it's a shooting, a stabbing, or so on and so forth. The emergency tone went off on my radio, said that fire was in trouble at that call. So me and my partner decided to respond.
Okay, so you arrived, you told us about the blood. You said you were able to contact someone named Miss Schneider.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to get a good look at that person?
Yes, sir.
And is that person present here today in the court?
Yes, sir.
Would you kindly identify her by something that she might be wearing?
It's this young lady right here, sir, with the brown, tan, long sleeve shirt.
Thank you, Officer Mendez. May the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Yes, the record will so reflect.
Now, Officer Mendez, you told us that your body-worn camera was operational.
Yes, sir, it was.
Would it have recorded that interaction with Ms. Snyder when you first arrived?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, Officer Mendez, I'm going to show you what has been marked for identification purposes. That states exhibit number 23. Would you kindly take a look at states 23 and tell me if you recognize what it is?
Yes, sir, I recognize that.
What is it?
That is a recording of my body-worn camera footage.
And you've had an opportunity to view the contents of states 23.
Yes, sir.
How do you know that?
We reviewed it, sir, and I initialed it and put my badge number on the disc.
So these are your initials and your badge number.
That is affirmative.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the events as you watched them unfold with your very eyes on February 24th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
Has it been changed or altered in any way?
No, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer states 23 into evidence tendering to opposing counsel for inspection.
No objections, Your Honor.
Objection.
States 23 is admitted?
And permission to publish, Your Honor.
Yes.
All right, Officer Mendez, you told us that initially the call, the alert tone that went off, directed you to the scene because there was a fire or firemen were in trouble.
Yes, sir.
When you arrived, were you able to see if the firefighters were still around?
Yes, sir. The vehicle, I believe it was EMS and fire, were still there on scene. I believe they were treating the victims already.
Could you see if any of the officers had been injured? Or the firefighters had been?
I believe I did see one firefighter with his pants torn, but I'm not too sure the extent of his injury.
Did you ever contact that person?
No, I did not.
When you saw those firefighters, what were they doing?
I believe a couple of them were treating the female victim. I remember seeing her on the gurney, and then I remember a couple of them tending to the other firefighter whose pants were torn. I'm assuming he had been bit as well.
So at that time, you didn't perceive them to be actively fighting dogs or anything like that?
That's correct.
And in fact, you told us that the dogs had already been put up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just kind of wanted to give us a time frame of when this was happening.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's jump ahead slightly.
Where's the dog at?
They're inside. I don't want them. I'm done with them. They're inside. They're in cages. I'm done with them.
There's the kennels?
They're inside 8 kennels.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. As long as they're contained, that's good. We appreciate y'all helping us out.
Am I taking trouble for this?
So who did they attack? What happened?
So let me pause right there. 1 minute, 35 seconds into the video, or if we use the body-worn camera's own internal clock, it would be 1400 hours, 2 minutes, 28 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you were kind of describing this for us, Officer Mendez, earlier. But now, when you approached Ms. Snyder, what is the first thing that she asked you?
As depicted on the body cam, she asked if she was going to be in trouble.
So that was the first thing she said to law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, she mentioned something about the whereabouts of the dogs.
Yes, sir.
Where were the dogs located?
She said they were both put inside a kennel.
So did it seem to you at that time that that defendant or that person owned a dog kennel?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I wasn't here. I got home.
Yeah?
I got here and I just saw the whole ambulance and everybody and I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
So when the gate closed, I guess they broke through it.
That was blood over your porch here.
It's from the dogs. We had shut that hole and I was like, what the fuck happened?
60-30. The owner is saying that she does have the dogs contained inside the home in the kennel. I guess if you want to get these, yes,
remember what that other officer that approached you initially had said something about EMS? Do you remember what he told you?
There's a hearsay, Your Honor, Sixth Amendment confrontation.
Overruled.
Yes, you may answer.
No, not till right now.
Fair enough. We could back it up and watch it, but it's already in evidence, so it's perfectly fine. Let's skip ahead a little bit until you resume contact with Ms. Snyder.
There's that tool. Probably what it did. The firefighter info.
That was,
Do you have any paperwork on them?
yeah, they just had an ACS when 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Just any paperwork you have, they're going to just get it together because ACS is going to want to do all that. They have shots and everything.
Yes, the ACS should have their papers, right? They have chips in them. So,
Okay. Yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all working with us and not being
that's too much.
not kids soon. And imagine what these they would have done to your
Yeah, I
kids.
know, that's what I'm on the phone with right now, because they're like, my pup, they're done.
Yeah. Well, ACS is gonna take them either way. They have to because they attacked somebody. I believe they attacked the firefighter as well too. So.
And it's not their first time, so they're done.
So let me pause there. 4 minutes, 22 seconds into the video. 1400 hours, 5 minutes, 15 seconds. Officer Mendez, did the defendant appear to have knowledge that the dogs had recently been in an ACS quarantine?
Yes, sir.
Did she appear to have knowledge that this was not their first time?
Yes, sir.
When you mentioned that they had attacked somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I think that's all we want from this video. Okay, thank you, Officer Mendez. The state has no further questions.
We have no questions, Your Honor.
May he be excused?
Yes, from the state.
Thank you, Officer.
Thank you, Joe.